Welcome to Mining Now, everyone. I'm Jared Downey. My voice might be getting a little different as we do more and more episodes, but that's part of the fun of being live, doing live shows at live events. Today on the show we have John Callahan. You're the mining industry manager.
Yes, sir.
At RBC Bearings, right?
Yep.
We did a joint episode with Dodge and RBC Bearings, right? It was our first episode. Now we're going to focus just on RBC. We're sitting in your booth at Mine Expo. Let's just talk about your role with the company first, and then we got plenty to cover today. So
yeah, it sounds good. So I'm the mining industry manager. I've been in the bearing world for almost 20 years now, calling on the large OEMs that manufacture these massive pieces of equipment. And been with RBC now for about 12 years, focusing on like the spherical plane bearings and these wheel bearings that we have on display here.
Right. Okay. What I want to jump right into it up on the show is where the bearings go. There's a chart. I think it might be on your website, but it just shows you all these machines and then these different sort of points.
Yeah.
So if we could walk through some of those, that would be a great way to just start it off.
Absolutely. So, right, when you're looking at the different pieces of mining equipment, you've got hydraulic excavators, you've got shovels, you got mining haul trucks, you got large dozers, and all these machines, what they have in common are pivot points. So these pivot points might be where the rear axle connects to the frame of the truck. It might be where the hoist cylinder is dumping the body. It could be on the boom of the shovels or the excavators. But usually wherever you have these pivot points, there's a hydraulic cylinder. And at the end of that cylinder is what we have a spherical plane bearing, which allows for the load carrying capability as well as kind of misalignment as you're carrying and dumping these heavy loads.
Okay, what is a spherical? No, I just messed it up. What's it called?
Spherical plane bearing.
Spherical plane.
Plane. So here's an example of one right here.
Okay.
So it's got a cylindrical bore. It's got a fractured outer race. This is a cutaway, obviously. Yep. So you got the pin that goes through here, and it allows, as the cylinder moves, for it to kind of pivot and oscillate.
Right.
And slight misalignment. So as the cylinders go up, to dump the load, and the rod of the cylinder extends, you can allow for misalignment, so you don't bend and fracture your cylinders.
How big? How small and big do those go?
So they start. I mean, they're tiny. You might have a little bore size, 1-inch bore.
Yeah.
And then some of the bigger ones are behind you over there. And they go up to about a 9-inch bore for the mining industry.
Crazy.
I mean, they get much larger when you're looking at bridges and stuff outside the mining industry. But those ones over there are probably the largest ones for mining.
What do you mean bridge? What would be an application for a bridge? Like a
drawbridge.
Oh.
Yep. Where they're.
I mean, I know this is not a mine, but I got how big would that one must be massive.
Yeah, those. I'm thinking, 30 plus inches.
Wow. So on these larger ones, what kind of machine would those go on then? What up to what?
So like the 400-ton haul trucks that you're looking at over there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who the manufacturer is. Some of the largest ones would go into what we call the nose cone position or drive pivot.
Okay.
Which is the one that connects the rear axle to the frame of the truck.
And so when you talked about the OEMs, who are the clients here that you're talking to? Are you talking obviously to the OEMs, but also then the service companies, dealers? Who is the target audience at an event like this?
So really everyone. What I would like to see happen is we're educating the end users and the repair shops of a lot of the new technology that's out there that they may not be aware exists, and drive that back home into their designs, or have the end users drive it back home to the OEMs to kind of force some changes in the future to incorporate our enhancements that we offer.
Let's talk about our Heavy Industry World Tour, brought to you by Savona Equipment. Find, market, and sell surplus and used equipment. We are heading to events across North America and Australia and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsmen.com to be part of Crownsmen's Heavy Industry World Tour. Petro-Canada Lubricants leads the charge with cutting-edge lubricants and greases tailored to deliver outstanding equipment protection under severe loads over extreme temperatures and environments. From surface to underground mining, their products ensure maximum uptime and savings, extending drain intervals and boosting productivity. With Petro-Canada Lubricants by your side, expect not just lubricants, but total solutions designed to keep your operation running efficiently and effectively, even in the toughest conditions. Learn more at petrocanadalubricants.com. Austin Powder uses Paradigm to meet customer customer requirements and enhance blast efficiency and production. Paradigm offers several advanced features, including fragmentation modeling, PPV and PVS reduction, charging and timing analysis, fly rock prediction, energy distribution, 3D blast modeling, muck pile footprint prediction, and overpressure prediction. With these innovative tools and state-of-the-art software, Austin Powder provides comprehensive blast analysis and optimization. Explore more about Austin Powder and cutting-edge products at austinpowder.com. As heavy machinery specialists for mining, SMS Equipment knows performance, like the performance they achieve together in a partnership dedicated to the success of their mining customers. At SMS Equipment, they're more than machines from trusted brands. They're the people beside you today and every day, bringing industry-leading technology and expertise to your mining operation. Because the right partnership makes everything possible. SMS Equipment, partners in your possibilities. Discover what's possible at smsequipment.com.
I got more questions about, like, there's some design questions I have in that, but something I've been doing at this show that I've been finding really helpful is I just ask questions that I ask, but what are some of the questions you're getting? You have, by the way, fantastic spot right beside, you got Caterpillar and Matsu right there, Sandvix a little ways over. Everybody's coming through. What are some of the questions you're getting as you're in the booth?
So a lot of the times what they're seeing, they're coming up and they're seeing these bearings that have a Teflon liner. So they're asking, it's kind of a new technology for them that they're not aware exists. So they're asking, what does this do? What does it mean for me? And then we go into it, how it eliminates the need for grease in the system. And that could be for a variety of reasons of why they may want to eliminate grease. Could be environmental. It could be they got issues with getting grease through the system. Whether you're operating in the tar sands where it's sub-zero temperatures and the grease can freeze up, whether you got a lazy mechanic who may not be greasing everything, or a broken lube line in the auto system.
Could you walk us through the design? Because is this what we're talking about here? These designs?
So those designs up there, those are different lubrication enhancements for the typical grease bearing.
Okay.
So on here we got a standard lube groove. That's kind of the basic design,
right?
Because I guess backing up a little bit, what's critical to a bearing operation is the lubrication.
Yeah.
So if you don't have lubrication, you get steel on steel contact and the bearing's going to fail prematurely. So you got to make sure you always have it greased within the load zone of the bearing. And that's what all these various lubrication features, the standard lube groove, the patented quad lube that's in here that goes all the way around the bearing.
Right.
Make sure no matter where it's loaded, there's always a channel of grease flowing through that.
I see. And then is that, are those three different designs then, or is that the same?
So this one here, this is a non-sealed version. So it's the same design as this one on the outside.
Right.
Right. So it doesn't have a seal in it. So these have seals to protect and scrape debris away. But this one, in addition to the lube groove here, we've got a spiral bore groove. So you can get lubrication between the pin and the bore.
Yeah, sorry. Could you help me separate out the two? So one is is one bearing you don't need to lubricate, and then one you do? I'm trying
These three you all need to grease.
Okay.
And then we have an example over there that
bring up the footage of that.
That has the actual Teflon liner that replaces the grease.
It replaces the grease. So it
is the lubrication. You never have to put any in there.
Is this? I hate to really simplify. Is this kind of like a non-stick pan idea? Similar?
Very simple. Yep. Exactly. So there's this process where you get it bonded in there, so it stays in there and it remains in there for the entire life of the bearing.
Okay, and then that gets sealed up because the debris are real. The debris is a real issue with bearings,
absolutely.
Right? That's the killer of the bearing, right? So this is then sealed. Now, which design is this? What am I looking at here on this Teflon ones? One of those is that? So
the ones we would have here would be for the Teflon would have a dual seal arrangement. So we got a scraper on the outside with a double lip seal on the inside.
Oh, okay.
So it's helping keep debris out and keep moisture out. The one other thing I'd like to highlight is our large wheel bearings.
Yes.
So, they're going in the 240, 300, 400 ton trucks. So whether it's the rear wheel motor, the rear for the mechanical drive trucks, or some of the front bearings, we've got them designed. And it's we're a new player in the wheel bearing market, but we're a serious one, and we've made great headway to grow our business there.
Did you know cementitious binders can be responsible for up to 70% of the total GHG footprint of mine backfilling processes? Now you can replace up to 50% of the binder in your mine backfill operations with Graybond, Graymont's new low-carbon cementitious binder. This lime-based alternative binder maintains a 40 to 70% lower GHG footprint compared to typical cement and can adapt to varying mine conditions without compromising performance. Learn more about Graybond at graybond.com. Who is Savannah Equipment? Savannah Equipment Limited is a buyer and seller of new, used, and refurbished industrial equipment with a focus on mining and construction. They find, market, and sell surplus and used equipment. Does the equipment need work? They can refurbish. Is there something you can't find? They source those hard-to-find items. Selling equipment? They buy, consign, and broker equipment and asset packages. Need equipment moved? Savannah Equipment manages logistics for worldwide delivery. Surface and underground ore processing, concentrating, and refining plants and equipment, power generation and electrical, pump, material handling, alluvial placer, gold mining, recycling, and much more. If you need to buy, sell, find, refurbish, or move equipment, you need Savannah Equipment. Savannah Equipment. More equipment every day. Visit them at savannahequipment.com. For almost 30 years, SureStrike International has been delivering high-quality hydraulic impact hammers. Whether you are in aggregate, mining, or industrial applications, they help provide superior output, process flexibility, and remarkable economics in your front-end processing. With hammers ranging from 25,000 to a staggering 150,000 foot-pound of striking force, SureStrike has the perfect solution for any application. It's time to optimize your front-end processing with SureStrike International. To learn more, visit them at SureStrikeInternational.com. Can
you talk a little bit about what the design, what people should expect, and also just integrating it into their fleets and things like that?
Yeah. So the wheel bearings we have are, they're drop-in replacements for some of the existing trucks out there. Our engineers have worked in some cases to incorporate more rollers, larger rollers, so we have excess capacity compared to the competition that's out there for the standard parts. And then so you got pin type cages, you got stamped steel cages, and then they go, and from us, we can do them from about a 10-inch bore to about a 42-inch OD.
Okay.
So what you're looking over there is on the larger side. The big one is the 42-inch bearing.
The go-to-market with these, is this going directly to RBC or is their dealer networks? What's the setup for go-to-market?
So we will sell to, we would sell to the OEMs. We're not on the OEMs for the large wheel bearings.
Right. Okay.
So our market right now is kind of more the MRO and repair shops.
Right. Okay. And scaling it up as you push into the market. So.
Yep.
And then what about longevity for those in comparison to, is it depending on environment? Where would you put this as opposed to this?
So they are drop-in replacements, the same size. They can go anywhere. Now, if you properly grease a bearing in the intervals that you should, and it's properly sized, properly loaded.
Which everyone does all the time.
Right.
That
it would absolutely last to your expected life.
Right.
But when that doesn't happen for various reasons, then you get accelerated wear and premature failures.
Right.
And that's where the maintenance-free liners ensure you always have lubrication in the load zone.
And so would it last a comparable amount of time to this being lubricated properly? Would the Teflon ones last similar amount of times? Yeah. Okay. Wow. And so now, like the OEMs in that, they must be putting. I don't know. I don't think I'd call those legacy bearings, but this is fairly new. How long has this been in the market?
So probably about 5 or 6 years. It's been.
That's pretty new.
Pretty new in the mining market.
Yeah, mining.
Now it was developed from our aerospace side of the business, where it's been in the aerospace and the airplanes that you're flying around for years.
Oh,
and that's kind of where it was developed. But that's a very different operating environment. That's, extreme hot and colds, very clean environment.
Yeah.
When you're taking off and landing, you're not driving through the mud. And
so these would these have a slightly different sealing system in that?
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Yep. And that's really over the last 5 to 6 years what we focused a lot of our engineering efforts and development.
Getting it sealed so that there's not, because getting a little bit in there could cause issues. Yeah.
Yeah. You get debris in a line system and it will tear that liner apart.
So maintenance on these is essentially zero then, or what?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That seems that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and it retrofits in. Okay, the other thing I want to talk to you is just about obviously these machines in the mining space, they take a real beating that maybe like no other industry does. How is strength in comparison? Are they similar?
So they're made with the same steel.
Okay.
And, you're talking about these bearings getting a beating. Well, certain positions, may not see all these impact loads, but other ones, take a rear strut or a nose cone or maybe an equalizer bar on a dozer. Those ones, they get jammed all the time and you can get fractured bearings.
Yeah.
So we got two different types of steels that we mainly put in these bearings, a 52-100 through hardened, which is kind of the standard one.
52-100?
Yep.
Okay.
And then there's an 86-20 case carburized one, which is impact resistant.
Okay. And what is this? Oh, sorry.
That's exactly what this is going to show. So you got the case carburized one has a hard surface on the outside for your wear resistance.
Okay.
But then it has a soft inside so it can take a beating and not fracture.
Because it does need to flex, right? Okay.
It's got to be able to, as you hit a pothole, it's got to be able to absorb. If it shatters when you hit a pothole with a loaded truck,
and
then you're going to have to pull that truck out of service. And that's where the 86-20 can absorb that load. But with the hard service, you're not sacrificing wear.
Right. One thing I was wondering is like, because some of these fleets, people have different stages of where as they grow, they get, especially we're talking mining, but in heavy construction, you'll see if you drive by a site, you'll see a 30-year-old machine and you'll see a brand new shiny one sitting there. So were these bearings being used 30 years ago, the same type of steel in that, or can you can obviously retrofit then?
The same grades have been used, but steel development has come a long way, and there's a lot cleaner steels, which yield better performance.
Right. Okay. So are people then swapping out these new bearings then for those old machines?
Yeah.
That's no problem, right?
We've seen a lot of retrofitted machines with going from 52-100 to the case carburized, what we call our ImpactTuff series.
Is there an application where these don't fit, the Teflon ones? I'm saying Teflon. What is the branded version of them?
Duralube. Duralube is the maintenance free. No, I mean they are 1-for-1 drop-in replacements.
Really?
If you can keep it clean.
And so it's just a matter of educating people on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Price comparison, a little bit more. Where does it sort of land?
It's more expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, as it's got a PTFE liner in there.
Yeah.
But we're working to reduce our manufacturing costs to make it so it's feasible for the miners to use.
What is it? Just to wrap up here, what is the challenge of getting it? Like, why is every single bearing not that? Or what are there some of the reasons people don't put it in? Awareness?
Just awareness. I mean, it's like if I was designing a machine, that's what I would want to see in there.
Yeah.
But there's grease is easy, and when it's easier and it's cheaper.
Right. People have their service division and that's all set up. Yeah.
And that was the way the market was developed years ago. And a lot of times people just stick with what's out there. So we want to educate them on the new technology to try to push some change into this industry.
Yeah. It's fun to be a part of it for us. What, for this show, how is just to wrap up, how has the show gone? If the response people get, lots of questions?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they walk by and they see these stands and then they're asking about it and they're excited. They ask where can they get them? So we inform them, if you're wanting to see the change, go back to the OEM, voice that,
right.
Give the OEM that voice of the customer,
right.
that this is what we want to see and this is the change that we want.
I mean, it must just be huge. Like I'm thinking, mining operations, construction sites. I mean, the lube issue. So I've said this before on the show. So what some people don't realize, my grandfather actually got crushed. That's how he passed away. Is servicing, and people didn't realize he was in the machine, and turned it on, and that was it. So it's when I see this type of stuff, even you're talking safety, you're also talking lower maintenance. You've got worker shortage in the mining industry, so you're less maintenance on these. So when you're talking about increased price, I mean the trade-off is just almost negligible. It's nothing really there.
That's how we see it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at how much grease that you're going to pump through the lifetime of a truck.
And time of putting that grease and maintenance and tracking.
Reduced downtime.
It's crazy. So, it's what we're going to go and do another episode on the other side for Dodge. But this is just amazing. We're going to get footage and of the different things here. So, well, thank you very much for doing the interview. This is our second one now. We're going to have a 3-part series, so they're all going to kind of work together. So thank you for doing it. Hope we do it again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. And thank you everybody for watching. Of course, you can go to RBC Bearing. They've got a specific LinkedIn page where you can follow RBC Bearings. You can also connect. John, are you on LinkedIn?
I am. Yes.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't have your link here. We will add that in. You can connect with John directly on LinkedIn. And of course, follow and subscribe to Crownsmen channel and Mining Now. Thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you on the next episode of Mining Now.